who felt that he has done something that was so bad, giving out Jesus Christ to the enemies while he was not faulty. And he hated himself, and the money he sold him, he rushed to the church elders and gave out the money. But he did not forgive himself. And because he hated himself, he killed himself. We have people who hold a grudge against others, and you feel so bitter against other people. And this is not good when you hold bitterness against others. And therefore, we go by the Bible standard that tells us that we get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, and brooding and slander, so that we are free from bitterness. And today, I want to skill you to getting out of bitterness. How do you get yourself out of bitterness when it comes? It is good that we may know how to get out of your bitterness. I remember there was one lady who went to hospital while she was very sick. And when she was examined by the doctor told her that I cannot treat your nature of disease, and therefore sent her to a psychosocial therapist. And after she was examined, the doctor got to know that the lady was so bitter with his father. And the doctor told her, if you want to heal the nature of your disease, go to your father and empty yourself the bitterness that you have. Because you are so bitter until you have a lot of acidity within yourself, and it's going to kill you if you don't go. And that is how she was helped. And therefore we must skill ourselves. How do we get out of bitterness? You remember Naomi was also against God when he lost his own husband and 2 sons, and got the 2 daughters and started telling the daughters, you think you are more bitter than me? You are not bitter than me. Bitter with who? She was very bitter against God because he had taken his husband away and 2 sons away. And it is God who created them. He's the one who came for them. It is not for you to say when your husband will go, or your wife will go, or your child will go. That's the business of God. He does what he wills. We belong to him. We are a creation of his hands. This lady got bitter against God because she felt that God did not do enough to help her. And that's why when she went home to Bethlehem, when people called her Naomi, she told them that don't you call me Naomi, call me Mara, because I went full, I've come empty. She was very bitter against God. Now how do we get rid of this bitterness? Let me give you another example. Jonah. And we have so many Jonahs around. We have so many Jonahs around. And you people are witnesses. I'm saying that deacons come here so that we may have a treasurer. And some go seated and never woke up because they feel they are not the right people to be among the people who are going to serve in those posts. Jonahs are many among us ourselves. And it's not a good nature of a person to be close to. Jonah is being told to God, go to Tarshish and speak to my people. To Nineveh and speak to my people. I'm going to use you as an agent, my servant to go there. And then he disobeys. You can easily get into problem when you disobey and you get yourself into bitterness for nothing. Make sure that you have skills to obey authorities wherever you are. Because you'll say your boss is against you, yet you are becoming a problem yourself. It's good to obey authorities whenever they are there. Because disobedience is a recipe for bitterness. Imagine this guy taken by force by God to go and preach to Nineveh, and people get born again. And then he's so furious and angry at because they have heard and have repented. Somebody getting angry for no reason. And we have people, and you know them amongst yourselves. You can tell that there are some people who get angry over nothing. Would you tell your friend, don't you be such a person? Don't you be such a person, getting angry over nothing. Jonah has been said to go and preach to people. That is the business he was to do. And God changed the hearts of people, and they repented, and he was so angry that people have repented. And went under a tree that was grown by God himself. And then, resting under the shadows of that tree, God made it dry. And then he was so angry again. And able to tuwekea hapa hiyo ya Jonah muone. Mnaweza fikiria ni mimi nasema muone vile Jonah alifanya. And you put Jonah 4. Are we in Jonah 4 verse 9? Let's see verse 9. But God said to Jonah, imagine it's God asking him, why are you angry with this situation? The tree does not belong to you. You neither planted it, it's me. And me was right. Why are you so angry with that tree? It doesn't belong to you. Do you know there are people who get angry over nothing? Hey, church, are we together? Are you aware there are people who get angry over nothing? Like Jonah, why is he angry? And even he says, God, I knew you would save them. I know you have that grace. Why did you save them? Imagine being angry because people are born again. Ati kwamba watu wameokoka. You go read Jonah 4 and see. I don't have time to talk about it. But see the attitude that Jonah had, complaining over nothing. You are not a candidate to become the chairman of the church. Why do you get bitter? You just do your elections and go. And then the numbers speak. You see? Getting angry over nothing. Would you tell your friend, don't you be angry over nothing? You go read Jonah 4 and see. Now let me tell you. Let me give you another example that you understand. I'm almost through. Imagine a Christian decides to make a lie. All right? And then he sits down and makes a lie over somebody. What does that Christian feel when he has made a lie against someone else? Does that person feel guilty or feel bitterness? Hey, mutikojo kelia leo. When a person who is a Christian decides to do a lie, what is that person supposed to feel? Bitter or guilty? You feel guilty. Suppose the same lie is made against himself. What does he feel? He feels? Are the two related? Yes, because bitterness is for people who have sinned against you. Are we getting the point? You can't feel guilty over someone else. You can only feel bitter against someone else. But when it becomes to yourself, you are guilty about the sin. So, guilty is the one that holds you. That is the gate that made. Judas Iscariot go and hang himself. Not that he was bitter against himself, but he felt a lot of guilt. The skills to get over them then is something that is very important. And one of it is to make sure that you accept help. This is the reason why this lady, after holding a lot of grudges against his own father, got sick herself. The offender will go free. And you don't have to stay angry over someone who is not ready to do an apology. Soon. You cannot force someone who has offended you to be apologetic. It means that you know what you are supposed to do. That you are supposed to forgive that person so that you may get rid of your bitterness. Forgive that person so that you do not go to see a doctor. Because bitterness will hatch a lot of acidity within yourself. You'll get sick, and finally, we bury you. And the persons who offended you will continue living and take care of his family. Would you tell your friend, get rid of every bitterness? Get rid of every bitterness. Because you know what you are supposed to do. That you are supposed to forgive that person who has offended you. If you don't, it's your choice. So when you get sick, go to the hospital, let you be medicated. Hey, am I communicating? The other thing, do like Naomi did. When she told people, don't call me Mara, when went to her home, she changed her focus from self to her daughter-in-law, Ruth. Change your attention, change your focus from the things that are hurting you to others. The reason why Naomi healed is because she started getting worried over the problems of her own daughter-in-law and got into her situation and started solving her problem. With that, she healed her bitterness against God. So if you want to heal, then you need to refocus again and stop focusing to your own self and focus to the needs of others. Are we together? Yes, that is what Naomi did. She got her attention from her own self and took her attention to her daughter-in-law. And by the way, she even advised Ruth how she's going to get a husband and gave and tuitioned her on the skills. You go read the Bible. Because she was feeling for her. You remember even when she lost the two sons, she even told the two daughters, even if I were to get pregnant now and give birth to a son, I can't grow her to come and marry you. And again, you know I do not have a husband. Why don't you go to your mothers? You could get your husband there. One left. And she was left with Ruth. And now she decided, now how do I help this one? Because she cannot remain without a husband. And she took her problem. And she stopped focusing on her own sons and husband, her own attention, and started attending to the needs of her daughter-in-law. And she tuitioned her, and it bore fruit. She got married and gave birth to her son. Other books, her glad son like this, mwili wake ukawa na msisimuko mpaka nyonyo za shows zikawa na maziwa kwa sababu ya msisimuko. As she said, kwamba her hope has been restored.